Ladies, welcome to another self-love conversation. And tonight we have an amazing woman, Miss Janelle Jones. She is a entrepreneur. She is also a mother. She is a digital consultant. She has been helping people all around the world go ahead and build their business. And also, she has been and traveled to 15 countries, which I want to know about. And she has two beautiful children, and she's going to talk to us about how she manages all and how we can actually balance our lives through it. So, Janelle, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, tell me, the first question is, how did you get here? How did you become this super mom?
That's a long story. I don't think we have time for that whole thing. Like, no, seriously, for real.
Give
That's intense. Like one day I
me
need to write
the
a book.
short version. Give me the short
The
version.
short
What is it?
version, I was born, life was tough. No, for real. This super mom, I got into a couple of different relationships. I got engaged to a guy. It was a mess. So I got on the road. I had to get away from him because he wasn't letting me go, but he was a mess. So I
Wow.
started flying around the world, like just literally to get away from this guy. That's how bad it was. And when I came back, I was like, I love traveling, but I was ready to start my family. So I was running a tutoring company around Atlanta, and I decided not to tutor anymore because I couldn't drive around and have kids and tutor at the same. It wasn't going to work. So I started my online business, and I started as a virtual assistant, and realized I was doing more marketing. I have a degree in marketing, and it kind of
Mhm.
just expanded and exploded after that. I had kids, and I realized that they weren't going to be able to go to school. School is a mess.
Yeah,
And then COVID happened, and they really weren't going to go to school. All the shootings happened. They really weren't going to go to school. So we just
right.
started world schooling, homeschooling, traveling around, working on the computer, and trying to live our best lives the way that we see fit.
Wow. That's amazing. And it's like, in doing all of that, what are some of the things that you were doing to kind of, like keep it all together? Because you got two kids, right?
I have two. Yeah, right now they're 2 and 6 as of this
Two
recording.
and six. Okay.
I have little bitty ones, yes. But um I kind of it sounds bad, but I put a lot on their hands, right? They're
Hmm.
little people. They are very smart. They know what they need to do, and
Hmm.
they kind of manage themselves, so to speak, really. The 6-year-old can dress himself. He can make his own bed. He can get food for his sister, stuff like that. The 2-year-old, she's putting up her passy. She can get her own diapers out, all that type of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I talk to them. I show them where the diapers are. Go get your diaper, go get your wet, like literally having a conversation with them. So because I need help, we can't do all of this by ourselves. So
Yeah.
everybody has
Oh,
to pitch in.
well, that is a super mom quality because a 2-year-old is kind of just like all over the place, and a 6-year-old is really just, finding out the word I and me and what I want to do. So where did that come from in you? Is
Mm,
that, how you were raised to be, so
yeah.
independent or whatever? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so my parents, they split when I was 9, and right before
Hmm.
they split, they went through this rocky time where there were a lot of gaps in my care, particularly because I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
And so that left me having to take care of myself.
Mm.
So we're in New York, I'm riding a public bus from school
Yep.
to home. I'm getting my own food, stopping at the Chinese store, buying my food. I'm 8 years old, managing these things for myself. So my expectation is if I was able to do it at 8, you can dress yourself at 6. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So,
And that's crazy because I'm from New York as well.
so you
And,
know what I'm
and I
talking
would
about.
I would tell people, I was taking a bus at 9 to take my sister to my aunt's house. And the way that we used to do it is that my grandmother would look out the window to make sure we got on the bus. And then I would take the bus and then take the train and then walk and then
Hmm.
call her from my aunt's house to let her
Hmm.
know that I made it and then make that trip all the way home. But I was 9, I was 8, right? and I'm doing grown people things,
Mhm.
you know, so I know where that inner strength comes from. How did you get into entrepreneurship doing all of these things? Is this before the kids and you know, were doing this and then you just became a mom?
Yeah, I started the way everybody else did. Started going to college. I had to work and go to school at the same time, of course. So I got a job
You sound
and
like me. Yeah.
yeah, and the job nearly killed me. I'm not even
Hmm.
exaggerating. I was 21 years old and I was in the hospital. They had me on stress test. They couldn't figure out what was
Wow.
wrong with me. I was bleeding, period style, 3 months straight, nonstop, like literally body
Hmm.
shutting down. And I decided to go on a medical leave and it all disappeared. And I said, oh,
Wow. Wow. And that's my dog, but don't worry about that.
no, no, it's
We'll
fine.
get that. Wow. And so and that was because of the stress.
Yeah, it was when they say stress can kill you, it's not even a joke. Like I'm a testament to that. Stress can definitely kill you. So yeah, I quit the job and I was tutoring kids. My mom is a teacher, so she had some students in her school that needed tutoring and she said, you know, do you want to help the kids? I can't tutor them because they're my students, but you can tutor them. And so I started tutoring and I realized this is a thing. And
Hmm.
I started tutoring all over the city, started hiring tutors to help me. And I became an entrepreneur. I couldn't go back.
Right. And so Janelle, I would say, how did you or are you, how did you or are you finding yourself within this process? Because it's a lot of work. And so one of the things, well, hearing talk, I hear me, right? Because most of the stuff that I went through is kind of the same thing. So it's like we don't have time to figure out what we like, what we want, how we want to be, what do we like in another person or anything like that, because we're always on the go, 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 right? And then when we sit down and we realize, okay, this part of my life is good and I got this straight and I got this organized and I got this together. So why am I not really fulfilled in what I'm doing? How are you in a position where you feel like you have everything you need, or are you still searching for that balance?
I feel like I'm 90% there and I figured out what it is.
90%.
Yeah, yeah. So I finally figured out what it was, right? So what this is what
Okay.
almost 15 years later.
Yeah.
Um, I found that I'm multi-passionate, right? So I have a whole bunch of different interests. I love to travel. I love entrepreneurship. I love education. So the thing is that I'm an entrepreneur. So there's no
Yeah.
barrier on what I do. It's not a job. So why am I making my business into a job? I can pull my travel into my business. I can pull
Hmm.
my marketing into my business. I can pull the education factor into my business. I'm starting to call it a brand fusion where I'm fusing all of these industries together, where I'm
Okay.
teaching people how to homeschool their kids. I'm teaching kids sometimes. I'm teaching my kids. I'm marketing, helping people build their businesses up. And I'm traveling around the world and I'm meeting entrepreneurs while I'm traveling and helping them with their businesses as well. So it builds everything into what I'm passionate about.
How do you get time for yourself? And how do you find love? Like what a that personal you.
Mm,
That's the thing. Like because that's the with our business, and I find this, it could be very lonely because we give a lot of ourselves to other people, not because we want to, because we love it.
mhm.
It's the thing that drives us, right? It's like our thing of saying we are, you know, we're able to accomplish things. But how do you find that other side? How do you take care of you? And how do you find that space where you can just be you and not be everything to everyone else?
So I did it last week. It's completely last week I disappeared 4 days. I went to Louisiana by myself.
Really?
And yes, it was great.
Hmm.
And I do this maybe once a quarter. This has been the longest span because my kids are little. I haven't been able to leave them at this long of a period. It's usually a day or 2 days. I'll go to a staycation hotel somewhere in Atlanta or something and just go get a massage, do what I want to do, act like
Yeah.
I'm young, free, and single, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I do. I just take a couple days to myself. When I'm traveling, I have a babysitter. I have to find a sitter somewhere. I have a sitter everywhere in every state. Trust me. Where I go somewhere.
Really?
Yes,
That's
I have a sitter.
awesome.
Yeah, so there's different apps and different things you can find that you can get a sitter anywhere. And I hate to say that I'm trusting my kids with these people, but I am very careful with them as well. But
Hmm.
I've got to get my me time. So
Yeah.
I find a sitter and I go and I take a break, even if it's just to walk outside, go to the pool, something, and they're in the house. So I know that they're not far.
Hmm.
To answer your other question about love, I do have a partner,
Okay,
and
cool.
what he gives me grace, right? So
Hmm.
all of this, everything that we've talked about is about grace. So he knows we've met 10 years ago now. He knows how I am.
Yeah.
So you're not going to meet a nice Janelle if I can't take a trip somewhere every couple of weeks. Like literally, I'm
Gotcha.
not going to be nice to you. Like, what's wrong with
Okay.
you? Either you're hungry or you need a trip. Like,
Right. That's funny.
so that's just what it is. So he
Hmm.
gives me grace. He let me, I not that he let me. I went to Louisiana, had a nice trip, right? Came back,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
recharged, I'm ready to go. For my birthday last month, we went to Destin. It was a family trip. He knew I needed to go to the
I
beach.
love Destin.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do too. My favorite place. Yes.
Hmm.
So we do things like that. And he understands. He's like, every other week, we can take a little small trip if you want. And then once a month, every other month or something, we take a bigger trip and go somewhere. Because, that's what I need. He met me and he was like, where are you? Oh, I'm in Guatemala. Where are you now? I'm in China. Literally, you met me flying all over the place. So it's not going to stop.
Mm. So I'm wondering, what can you tell the women who are trying to find that balance? Because to them and to us, even me, and I just finished meeting with a friend talking about this. The I would say the whole thing is that we give our lives to what we do, right? And because we give our lives to what we do, when we have to turn it off, it's more of like we afraid we're gonna miss something if we do. So we're afraid to turn that phone off. We're afraid to allow ourselves to let go because we need to keep that image. We're afraid to go ahead and take more than 2 or 3 days because if we do, it might be something that needs to be done at the office or the client or whatever. So, as bold as you are, what are some of the advice that you can give us where we can feel more comfortable in, having this balance?
My first The first thing that came to my head, my first bit of advice for you is to work on your mental. Let go of those
Mm,
expectations.
mm,
Let go of that perfectionism that you're going to be able to handle everything perfectly. Stop chasing the Joneses. Make your life into what you want it to be.
right,
Okay.
right.
Now, that's easier said than done, definitely. So, a couple
True.
of things you can do is hire an assistant. So, I have virtual assistants that work for me. I found them on Upwork or Fiverr. I pay $4 or $5 an hour for them to
Yeah.
manage things on the back end for me. So when I'm gone, I'm really not missing anything. If there's something, they're gonna WhatsApp me. Hey, Janelle, you need to check this immediately. So I'm not really missing out on anything really important.
Okay.
And then what I do is called block scheduling. So I block out my time. It's very, very strict. My schedule is very strict because I know that I want some time for myself. Like right now, it's 7 o'clock. At 6:30, my 2-year-old is in bed.
Mm.
7 o'clock, my 6-year-old is in bed. After 7 o'clock, I turn into Janelle. I'm no longer mommy.
Ah,
So
that's
having that
nice.
very strict schedule, a lot of people don't want to be on a schedule. Well, they don't want to have the life that they're craving. They really don't.
How did you
Because
learn all of this though, Janelle? Like, there's a lot of people that just don't know this or feel like it is hard to follow. How did you learn all of this and be comfortable enough to go ahead and really execute this?
they say doing the same thing over and over again. And I started doing, I'm like, something's got to change. So then I tried something and it worked. And I tried a little
Yeah.
more and it worked. And I stuck with what actually worked. So you have to think and process, what did I do that worked? What was I doing when I was really enjoying my life? Oh, I was
Yeah.
doing these things. This is what was working for me. Go back to doing that and stick with
Hmm.
it. Be consistent. A lot of us lack consistency in our lives. We're procrastinators and we don't fulfill our commitments.
That's true.
And we want all this money, we want the glory, we want the fame, we want the fun, but we're not sticking through and doing what we said we were going to do. The purpose that was given to us, you know what was told to you that you were supposed to be doing, you're not doing it. That's just
Hmm.
what it
Hmm.
is. You're not sticking through and
Hmm.
you're not being consistent. You're not going through the fullest of your possibilities.
Right. And then what we do is we blame the outside things as the reason why we're not doing it, where really it is us. There is something deeper that is not
Why
happening.
are you self-sabotaging yourself? Have you asked yourself that?
Mm,
Why are you
mm,
self-sabotaging? Why do you feel like you need to go out? Because this is where I stay. If I'm not traveling, I'm literally in here on this computer, hunkered down, grinding it
yeah,
out on my computer. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not out here in the streets. I'm not going shopping. I'm not walking around the stores. What are we looking for out there? What's out
right,
there?
right. Not a damn thing, really.
Nothing. I'm really
But,
in here just hunkered down.
but a lot of women and a lot of women who's gonna listen to this is, saying, you got two kids, you figured it out. They haven't figured it out yet. And they want to, but they still let those outside forces get to them. They let the outside forces get to them, Janelle, because, you know, you might have failed once or twice. And people are saying, here we go again. So now, you want my help, you want me to do this, you want me to do that in order for you to, live this life, right? For that woman who wants to find that balance, wants to do and really figure out how she can have a life, have a business, and still, take care of the kids where she feels like she's not feeling guilty about things. What is the advice you have from her? Because that mom guilt is real, right?
Oh no, I struggle with it too sometimes. No,
Mm,
definitely. Because we're all overgivers. I'm definitely an overgiver to my children. So yeah, mom guilt is real. Um, you have to ask yourself, when was the last time somebody took care of you?
come on, girl. I'm
When was the
feeling
last time? When was the last time? And you could say, okay, maybe you have a husband or you have a boyfriend, or you have somebody, but are they really, really taking care of you the way that you would take care of you, the way that you take care of them? I highly doubt it. Because I know that's not the case for
you see
me.
my head shake. No.
I know that's not the case. Even with your children, it's not their responsibility to take care of you. It's your responsibility to take care of them. But when do you get the time to just say, you know what? I need a minute. I'm gonna put myself in timeout. I need to
Mm,
decompress.
mm,
So my advice would be to get yourself in order. You know what you need to do. You know what it's been on the back of your mind that you haven't done. So you need to make a list. What I call it is a brain dump. Just go ahead and start writing things out. Take 10 minutes and just write everything out that's on your mind. You could get your life in order if these things were just done. And then
absolutely.
prioritize them. How important are they really for you to get those things done? Put them in priority. Now, this is the top thing I need done, all the way down to the least important thing, and start knocking those things off of that to-do list.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I hear from you is, write it down and get committed, right?
It's one thing to make goals, but what about the actionable goals? People make
Yeah.
vision boards. What about action boards?
Come on,
Okay,
girl.
I'm visioning all day. It's not gonna happen if you just visualizing. Come on now.
Mm-hmm. I used to have that, honestly. I used to have a vision board and then I used to have an action board. And what I used to do, and I told my friends, I said, the thing I didn't like about the vision board is because it didn't have an action board because I wanted to take the things off of my vision board and move it to my action board to make me feel like I was actually doing something,
Exactly.
right? Just because I'm looking at it every day, it doesn't mean anything. But if I can take that picture off that I put on there and I put it on my action board, that's the thing that makes me feel good because you know what makes me feel good? Progress.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
makes me feel good? Me knowing that I'm moving the needle, right?
Exactly.
And knowing that I'm doing it without carrying this guilt, without feeling like I am stressing myself out, I am
Mm-hmm.
going through burnout, and that I'm forced to do it. Where now the thing that I love, I don't love it anymore because I made it a job. And
Mm-hmm.
because I made it a job, I have to figure out how I'm gonna get through it because now I feel stuck,
And we
right?
have to remember that everything that we love, we don't have to monetize.
Come on now, girl.
We don't, it can be a hobby. We, particularly Black women, don't just have fun. We don't know how to just have
We
fun.
don't. No,
We don't.
we don't. We don't. It's hard. And it's only hard because you so used to giving and doing, and you have to be, and you have to be present, and you have to do, all these things where you don't show no emotion. You do it because, and you are the person that needs to get it done, and and all of this where it's just like you meet somebody like you hear my question, how in the hell are you doing this? Because see that's you're you're the rare case of someone who's actually living their life and very happy about it, where you have two young kids, you're traveling, you're doing what you want to do. Other people will believe, excuse me, other women will believe that that's impossible because
Mm-hmm.
the kids are young, because they like, no, you must be doing something wrong. You get
My
what I'm
kids
saying?
just came back from India in February.
Wow.
They went to India in February.
Wow.
My son has been to 9 countries now. He's 6.
And 6 years old.
My daughter's been to 3. She's 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So,
just imagine when they get teenagers, how well-rounded they will be because they've been to so many places.
oh yeah, he said he found he goes to a homeschool co-op. They found out he spoke Spanish. And they were like, "What other languages do you speak?" He was like, "Hindi."
Wow.
He doesn't
No,
speak
you
Hindi.
did.
He does not speak Hindi, but he wants to learn it. So he's like, I'm working on speaking Hindi.
Right. Oh man.
So yeah,
So
it's very possible.
yeah. So what is it that you have coming up? What can you share with us that you're doing?
So I'm working on a rebrand right now. I told you about brand fusion. I have been doing
Yeah.
marketing for the past, like I said, 10 years. I've decided to now fuse everything together where I'm helping people to set up their dream life. What does this look like for you? So, do you want to travel the world? Do you want to be debt free?
Hmm.
What do you want to do? How much money do you want to have in the bank? What does your dream life look like for you? Do you want to go to Italy and take a cooking class? Do you
Right.
want to finish that degree? What does it look like for you? And helping people
Your
create.
life. It looks like your life, girl. The way you hanging out, sitting up there having lunch in Italy, and then turning around and going to Spain to chill on the beach, and then going to Greece, eating salad.
Yes. Yes, so that's what I want to, that's my next thing for 2023 is to start helping women to live their dream lives. Marketing is great. I love it. Once they have their lives set up, helping them start their businesses, because I believe that your dream life is through entrepreneurship. It's not through
I
working a job,
agree.
in my opinion. I could not imagine me working a job and being able to do all of these things that I do. It's just not possible.
I agree. And how can we follow you to get more information?
Yeah, so I'm on all social media platforms as Janelle J Speaks. My website is janelleajones.com.
Okay. And do you have your travels on your site so we can see where you're going?
It's coming up on my rebrand. If you want to see the travels, it's definitely on my Instagram account at Janelle J Speaks.
Absolutely. Janelle, thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for sharing all of your nuggets because we really want to figure that part out. It sounds like you just living your life to the fullest. And just to know that you're out there and just exposing your kids to so many things and that they're able to see so many things so early is like you're so far ahead of the game where by the time your child gets 10 years old, he will be the most well-rounded kid. You know what I'm saying?
No,
And that
really.
is dope. And that is a dope thing because, now he sees the world differently, right? because he's been to different places.
I believe that a lot of the conflict of the world is because we don't understand each other's cultures.
Say that
So
again.
that's why I'm bringing him to meet other people. He's learning about Judaism. He's learning about Christianity.
Yes.
He's learning about Muslim. He's learning about Hinduism. He's learning all of these things just so that he knows how to manage himself when he goes and he's interacting with other people. He knows their traditions, their cultures. That's why I'm doing this with them.
And that's why you're a supermom.
Thank you. I try.
That's why you're a supermom, because you are literally giving him the education that nobody would ever give him. And the 2-year-old too.
Yeah.
So, if when it's a girl, right? When
Mhm.
she's old enough, he's just going to teach her.
Oh, she follows everything he does. It's so amazing. I love watching them, right? She follows
Yeah.
everything and she says everything he says. She doesn't play with dolls or anything. No, she's into all the things he's into. It's hilarious.
Wow. Thank you so much. And it's like, thank you so much for everything that you do. Let everybody know how to follow you again. So we can see these adventures.
Thank you. My Instagram account, Janelle J Speaks, and like I said, it's the same on all platforms.
Janelle, thank you so much for being here and I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.